This is where we're approaching the apartment where Stax Parnell met his demise. Right there. Now, Stax Parnell is associated with the Lufthansa heist. Now, on this channel, I've done, a lot of videos about Goodfellas filming locations, but I want to show you the real life location where it happened in real life. And Stax Parnell was connected to the Lufthansa heist. So let's backtrack what exactly the Lufthansa heist was. It was a robbery that took place in JFK Airport in 1978. And at that time, it was an estimated $5.87 million was stolen. That was $5 million in cash and $875,000 in jewelry, making it the largest cash robbery on American soil at that time. That's an estimated $27.6 million in today's money. Now, the Lufthansa heist apparently or allegedly was the mastermind of James Burke, who is an associate of the Lucchese crime family. Now, he was allegedly the mastermind of the robbery, but was never officially charged in connection with the crime. So, just while we're speaking about Burke, and how he plays in with Stax Parnell here, Burke is also alleged to have either committed or ordered the the murders of many of the conspirators in the robbery, both to avoid being implicated, because he didn't want any part of this in the heist, and to keep their shares of the money for himself. Now, the only person that was ever convicted in the Lufthansa heist was an individual by the name of Lewis Warner, just to give you more backstory of this case here. And that was an airport worker who was involved in the planning. Now, the money and the jewelry have never been recovered. Now, the latest arrest associated with the robbery was made in 2014, which actually resulted in an acquittal. But this has been a case that has been going on for nearly 40 years. And remember, just as a summary here, allegedly, Burke just eliminated a lot of the people involved because, he didn't want to be ratted out, and he wanted shares of the money. Burke, by the way, has passed on. So it's been quite a story back there. Back then. Now, just a little bit. Many people involved. So alleged, just to see here, just to backtrack here, looking at my notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people were to carry out the robbery. And Burke's son, Frank, would drive one of the backup vehicles. And so Frank would be driving one of the backup vehicles, and then you had Parnell Stax, which is, this is a picture of Parnell. He was tasked with disposing the van afterwards. Now, depending on his role in the robbery, each participant was to receive cuts of between $10,000 to $50,000. Now, this is, remember, back in the 70s. However, those amounts, this is the vehicle, Those amounts would, you know, were based on an estimated haul, which was only $2 million compared to the actual take of the actual take now of 5.875 million. And Warner, remember, was the one that was convicted there, was to receive a flat 10% of the take. As we're again en route to where, you know, everything started to unravel and kind of what led to the downfall of Stacks Parnell. So, you know, everything went down at 3 a.m. It was on a Monday. They were in that Ford Ecoline, which you've seen before. They pull up to building 261, which was, I did a video of where that was. You could look that up as well on my channel there. And the rest is history. They pulled it off. A ton of money. Now, who is Stacks Edwards? Stacks Parnell. And how did he become, trusted, I guess is a word, by the crew to do, what he did. So let's backtrack a little bit here before we kind of jump back into the story and explain what exactly happened. Now, before we do that, actually, we're going to take you to the neighborhood. Yes, actually, guys, let me just kind of backtrack and tell you exactly, the aftermath here with Stacks Parnell before we kind of discuss who he was actually. So, during this investigation, and the family knew that the cops would be all over us, Stacks Edwards was instructed to drive the van to New Jersey, the getaway van, where with any potential evidence inside, it was going to be destroyed in a junkyard. Instead, Stacks, he parked the Ford van in front of a fire hydrant somewhere near where his girlfriend lived. Went to go visit her. And then police discovered it 2 days after the heist. And this is the location right here where that van was found. Kind of got to be careful with the camera. Right here. It was the neighborhood, so again, where it was found. Right where this town car is. And the plates were stolen, and the police impounded the vehicle at that point. They soon found Stacks' fingerprints and connected it to the robbery. A whole bunch of red flags go off. Apparently Stacks, just through after investigation, just simply became stoned, and he got distracted and wasn't able to get the vehicle over to New Jersey. He didn't feel apparently it was important, or he would get around to it. Now here are just some pictures of the scene from when the vehicle was impounded, when it was discovered. So within 3 days of the robbery, the FBI already had identified that the Burke crew were the likely perpetrators. And that's because of the likely discovery of the van, which was already coupled with Edwards' pre-established connections with the crew at Robert's Lounge. Now remember, they found fingerprints of Stack Edwards, who already had a record prior. Surveillance cameras were set up, trying to catch everyone, bugging vehicles, helicopters. We're going over to Stack's former neighborhood here. Gonna go to the apartment again. And yeah, everyone, they were bugging everything and anything, trying to get to the bottom of it. Even the payphones. And the FBI, they managed to record a few bits of chatter despite background noise, such as Sepe telling an unidentified man about a brown case and a bag from Lufthansa, and his telling his girlfriend he wants to see where the money is, dig a hole in the cellar. Again, stuff left. So it's like little bits and pieces, but nothing was concrete that they were able to connect to the crew and to the heist. And no search warrants were ever issued. And this is Robert's Lounge, what we're referring to, where a lot of this had gone down, kind of the headquarters of Mr. Burke. Now, Burke, he became paranoid when he realized how much attention Stack's failure had drawn. And it was apparently at that point, according to Rob Hill, who was another major player here in this, according to Hill, that's when he kind of, was paranoid. And he resolved to kill anyone who could implicate him in the heist. Now, with the murders of most of the heist associates and planners, little evidence and few witnesses remained connecting Burke or his crew to the heist. However, authorities were eventually able to gather enough evidence to persecute, again, Warner, which was the, airline associate there, for helping to plan the heist. He was sentenced to 15 years. That's it. 15 years. Now, let's get back to what happened to Stacks. Stacks was ordered, to be killed. And this was, DeSimone, Tommy DeSimone. He was ordered, to kill people involved in the heist. Stacks was the first person that was murdered. He was shot December 18th in his apartment, which we're riding up on right now here again. And, the shocking thing, DeSimone himself would be disappeared, along with Sepe being killed as well. A couple of years after the fact, but apparently DeSimone and Stacks were friends, and DeSimone allegedly called Stacks' mom, and he apparently told Stacks' mom that he was sorry about what had happened. So just quickly, a little bit about Stacks, in case you're not familiar with it. Stacks over here was actually a former bodyguard of Muhammad Ali. He met Tommy DeSimone, who did kill him. That's Tommy DeSimone. as a struggling kind of blues rock musician out there in Queens Boulevard during 1967. And he was earning money as a street performer. Now, at the time, DeSimone was selling stolen Rolex watches. And eventually, DeSimone and Stax became friends, associates rather, and they began running a credit card scheme along with Henry Hill. And once again, where the vehicle was discovered, and then we will see the former home of Stax. And the rest is history. Eventually gained trust, and was an associate. You wonder though, if Stax had not fumbled, had not made a mistake, would Burke still react the way he did? I hope all is well. I look forward to speaking.